Hello, hello everybody. Welcome to your weekly messages for April 2nd to the 8th of 2019. And I thought that this week would be kind of fun to do only Paulina Cassidy decks because I'm a nerd. I don't know what else to say about it. I just figured that I would use all the decks from the same artist, and that would be a nice change. So I'm pulling a couple oracle cards right now. So while I'm doing this, if there's a specific type of information you're wanting to come through this week, go ahead and set your intention for that now. And then I also want to let you know, for those of you that are on Patreon, or if you're interested in love and relationship readings, those are getting, they're trickling out today on Patreon, you know, the same way I do on YouTube for the monthly readings, but the April love and relationship readings are coming out today. The link is in the description box if you're interested in taking a look at those. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a few of these cards, get a general idea of what we have going on. I'm not honoring those. I know that some people like cards that fly out. I do not. So let's see. All right, let's take a look at this card first. We have Beauty. Beauty is unveiled by the lustrous light within. Okay, so this is using a lot of the energy that you have within your body to really cultivate what you define as beautiful. Now, what I like to remind people of when it comes to this is it's less about what you have sitting on the external and more about how you are expressing what's on the internal. So they're related, but not exactly the same. So think about, like, in terms of self-care, beauty is tied to the way you take care of yourself, right? So like making sure your basic needs are met, you know, taking good care of your physical body is a way that you kind of cultivate that inner light. So while they do kind of live in the same camp, it's also about reminding yourself, what does it take? What does it look like for you to take good care of yourself? And then the other element to keep in mind this week is, what are you looking to cultivate within yourself so you can kind of step into that evolved version of who you truly are, essentially. And then the Witchling card we have is Wellness, What I Tell You. A healthy body, mind, and spirit thrive with a constant flow of balanced energy. So it goes back to, how are you taking care of yourself? What does that look like? How do you want to feel? What does the future version of yourself have to say about what you're doing, right? So if you think about, like, what are the qualities and attributes that you're wanting your future self to have? How can you make that happen right now? It's not something that you want to wait for. It's something you want to take action on now so that you can be the best version of yourself. Okay. Now, here, what do we have going on this week in the center? Eight of Cups, changing your perspective. So I think that a lot of this is going to be tied to the type of action that you're taking, as well as, you know, just like your general decision-making process and what it is that you're making happen. Like what types of decisions and what road are you walking down? Ask yourself step by step what it is that you're feeling, what you're doing that's contributing to you either feeling better, worse, and don't look at it from a standpoint of being judgmental, but really look at it from an empowered standpoint. Like, is there something that you're doing that is not making you feel good? And that could be being really critical of yourself. That could be, you know, not taking action on your to-do list. It could be like ignoring a problem. It could be, you know, anything. But remember that when you look at it as something that is within yourself that you're actually taking or not taking action on, that puts you in a position where you do have changes that you can make, and it is possible to move up from there. You're not stuck anywhere that you're at. Now, Let's see what's coming up. I'm kind of using this as an energy that's shifting out. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So in terms of the inspiration that you need and all of the stuff that you're, I don't want to say making happen, but perhaps that you've been wanting to initiate, that's definitely, it's like you might be doing some fine tuning. So if this was the seed that you originally planted, as it begins to grow, you might want to make some subtle tweaks and adjustments. That's also what the Eight of Cups is about, is like you might be changing your perspective around what it is that you planted before, right? So it's kind of like now that Mercury has gone direct, right? We're kind of moving out and integrating all of that information that you learned during Mercury retrograde. Now you're actually able to see it in action, and you're probably going to need to go and make some subtle adjustments so that you can steer the ship in the direction that you want it to go. Now, for some of you, that's going to have to do with self-care. That's going to have to do with your overall well-being. Maybe it's more of a health focus for you this week. For others, this could be a professional project. It could be a new relationship. It could be something, just that seed that you planted that's now beginning to grow. Okay, and then the oncoming energy is the Four of Cups. Being conscious of what you say yes to and what you say no to is really, really important. So I don't know if you can see her that well, but she's kind of like, nope, not having it today. And the thing is, it's not about either needing to say yes or no. I honestly don't have any insight on that for you because this is a general reading, right? So whether or not a yes or a no is working for you, it's at your discretion, and it depends on what you're going for and what you're wanting to build. So remember that this only matters because your yeses and nos are going to outline where you're steering your ship. Like if you're, let's say if you're in college, or if you have like some big work goals or something like that, and you're saying yes to everything other than work and school, right? Then that's gonna take you in an opposite direction of where you want to go. In the same breath, if you are feeling like the color has been drained from your life and all you do is slave away at your job that you're unsatisfied in, then maybe having more of an emphasis on fun, pleasure, enjoyment, or taking action on other things you want to build is more of where you want to say yes. So you need to be conscious of what you're pouring your energy into. So it just depends which side you're on. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your yeses and nos, what you're taking action on, is going to shape what you have oncoming. And then we have the Two of Wands. So for some of you, I'm seeing this as you kind of needing to construct that thing that you're wanting to call in. For others, you're probably in the period of waiting, right? So maybe you're waiting for a ship to come in. You're waiting for that manifestation to appear and materialize in physical form. You know, it's either waiting or constructing in the astral. So I'm getting this is a lot of what you've been building in your third eye space, what you've been building in the astral is starting to roll in, but it takes aligned action and continuing to do what you've been doing. And like I said here, you might need to make some adjustments. Maybe you recognize that some of the goals that you had or some of the actions that you're taking don't entirely line up with what you're actually asking for. So it's okay to revise, it's okay to update. And then we also have the Page of Pentacles. It takes showing up. The most important thing to keep in mind this week is that you have to show up. It's entirely up to you. The speed in which things build, the conviction that you have, what you're saying yes and no to, all of those things will shape what you're going through and what you experience. So it's kind of like the ball is in your court, and the fastest way to get results is to take action. And the other piece that I want to attach to that is consistency, because you don't want to tap out too early. Like if you're at a place right now where you feel like you want to give up or you're on the verge of giving up, One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received when I was in a state of wanting to give up was that, okay, you have the right to choose if you want to give up, but you better be absolutely certain that what you're manifesting is not going to come in tomorrow. So if you are absolutely certain about that, then okay, like you have free will, you have the ability to do whatever it is that you want. And I understand life is hard, life is painful. It really is. Being embodied is painful. I don't know. There is no more comfort that goes along with having this human experience, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, you have the power to create things, and that is on your side. So I would just say keep that in mind. Like, before you throw in the towel, before you give up, before you start speaking in absolutes, you need to be 100% certain that the thing you're asking for is not coming in. And if you are that decided, then it won't, right? But if there's even a fleck of you that thinks it's possible, then keep going. Okay? Now we have the Eight of Swords. I don't know what I'm doing with these. Maybe they're clarifiers. Let me pull a few more. This is limitations of the mind. So what you're thinking, like I just said, if you do not think something is possible, then it's not. If you do think something is possible, then it is. It really is that simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is that simple. And if you can just get to the place, like if you're really in any place of mental despair right now, all I ask you to try is to be skeptical. Like, sure, past experiences may have been shitty. Okay, I hear that. I understand that. But it's not enough evidence to be able to predict the future with just a past experience. And while a lot of people will project that onto the future, it's not accurate, right? It's just something that you've been seeing for a long time. So be skeptical with what you're projecting onto the future. And if you can think just in terms of, maybe I'm wrong, that's medicinal at this point in time. Okay, then we also have the Six of Wands. This is the victory card. Okay, so it's like what you desire is yours for the taking. That's absolutely what's coming through here. But it's about getting through that mental block, that mental cage that you might have around you. And just beyond that place of limitation, just beyond that place of comfort, just beyond that place where you're kind of running through the same pattern over and over again mentally, is where all the good stuff lives. Now we have the Six of Cups. This is the soulmate card, as well as, I'm getting like some divine intervention, as well as, it's like nostalgia. Like I said, projecting the past onto the future it's not accurate. Like, you can't guarantee that unless you actively have a hand in creating that. So the best thing for you to do is look at, okay, that happened in the past, but I'm ready for a new experience. I'm ready for this change. I'm ready for something new and different. That is like one of the key pieces of this reading, is as you're growing and changing things and planting that seed and watching it grow, you're going to see a lot of things come through. And that's really where active manifestation and actively being a part of what you're creating is how you can heal experiences of the past. If you're manifesting something different and something better, that's where the healing takes place, is when you watch that roll in and challenge your belief system. And then we also have the Sun. This is another nostalgia card, right? The childlike wonder, vitality, having fun. Honestly, if you can have fun this week doing anything at all, I recommend it. Like, if you can have a good time, if you can enjoy yourself responsibly, please, then it actually looks like it could pick your energy up. So no matter what it is that you're going through right now, no matter what the circumstances are, think about what you define as being fun and how you can have a good time with whatever resources you do or don't have. And that's going to be that's a great place to start this week. Now, as usual, we have a 3-card pick. You can ask a question, you can ask for guidance or clarity, whatever you feel like you're needing. Okay, so card number 1, we have the Page of Crystals, ideas and discipline. So discipline is standing out quite a lot, like needing to be super consistent, right? Because action is the best way to cultivate things, right? That's the most dense form of manifestation. It has the most potency behind it. And so remember that being disciplined with your actions result in great, great, great things. Never, ever doubt yourself when it comes to that. It also looks like discipline is what's required for this to manifest. Okay. And then we also have the 10 of Acorns. So this is equivalent to the 10 of Wands, responsibility and dedication. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm getting that maybe taking a step back. Do not look at the mountain of tasks that you have lying ahead of you. This is something where you kind of want to refine and figure out what's one right next step for you. What's one decision that you can make? What's one thing that you can check off on your to-do list? Just chip away at it. Try not to, tackle everything all at the same time or stare at the top of the mountain when you're just focusing on putting one foot in front of the other. This is about perspective more than anything. Okay, and then card number 3, we have the Hermit. Contemplation, wisdom. I'm also getting relaxation. Like this might, for you, it might not be a super action-oriented week where you're going and moving and doing all the things all at the same time. It might be slow down and check in with yourself, see how your body's feeling. That's really important in order for you to evaluate where exactly you're going and what you're doing. So this is take a time out. Maybe take some time to rest before you start getting really heavy-handed with taking action, because if you're not feeling good about your direction, then you could be over-investing in something you don't actually want to build. So just check in with yourself as you go. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, get a tarot spread, have a session with me, check out the description box. All of the links are there. And love and relationship readings are now out on Patreon, or they're coming out. If you're watching this on April 1st, they're trickling out today. So check all of that out. And until next time, everybody, have a great week. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.